Hi guys, Phoenix Hawk here, and today I am going to show you some of my favorite mining techniques. And please ignore that machine over there. Now to start out, I am going to put a disclaimer right here in that I do in fact differentiate between terms like strip mining and branch mining. Now in a nutshell, branch mining is where you've got you basically have a metaphorical tree like this, and then you start out small branches off to the sides, and this is basically what it's like. I am breaking the gravel up in this way. And then there's strip mining, in which you're basically mining forward, and then you come back and then you mine away in strips. So that's basically what this is, strip mining as opposed to branch mining. Oh crap, that's not even. So just to clarify, branch mining, strip mining. One more time, this is strip mining and this is branch mining, just to make sure you can see it because it's redstone. Now, under normal circumstances, if you start out a new Minecraft world, your inventory is probably going to end up looking a little bit like this. You'll have a pickaxe, a crafting table, some wood. If you're lucky, you'll get a few apples out of that tree, and if you are really lucky, you'll find a village, get some diamonds, maybe a small amount of anvil, a small amount of iron. But if you really want to get started on your own, then the first thing you need to do is dig in a sort of L shape like this. That starts out a staircase, and once you've started that staircase, you'll want to keep it going until you hit about y equals 50, because that's right around where you'll start to get iron. But at the same time, it's not exactly optimal to start your digging around in dirt. So instead, if you want to get a stone pickaxe as quickly as possible, you'll want to find a mountainside like this and start there instead. Now by this point, your wooden pickaxe is starting to look a little bit outdated because you've already gotten a stone pickaxe which does the same thing except 10 times better. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to turn your log into planks, planks into sticks, then line it up with your right click button, then line up the stone pickaxe with that. Next, you'll want to take your furnace and put it into that shape, put it there. Now, from here, you have the choice of doing one of two things. Number one, if you have yet to find any coal, then number one, if you have in fact found coal, then you don't need to worry about anything else. You can just keep on going. But number two, if you are kind of unlucky and you have all the trees in the world but not a single ore of core, then what I suggest doing is getting 9 wood, and then you'll put one of the oak logs into the furnace. Next, you'll take your wooden pickaxe and put it inside. That wooden pickaxe will smelt exactly one item, turning your single oak wood into a piece of charcoal. Next, since you already started out with an additional 9 wood, you'll put that charcoal in there and start the cycle. You'll put the 8 extra wood in there, and then that'll all get charcoalized. From there you can turn an entire stack into charcoal, and the cycle continues until you've secured an efficient source of fuel. Now normally if you've gotten this far down, as you can see I am at y equals 52, you will have very little to worry about. However, if you haven't gotten any coal yet, then there is a very good reason why you should charcoalize some of your wood, because that is basically the only way you'll get any torches. Now obviously you won't have quite this many torches. As you can see, I have a full stack, but regardless, if you get to this low of an altitude, the only ways that you have of lighting the place up and preventing monsters from spawning are to either take out the ceiling, which tends to be a tedious and inefficient process, or to turn your logs into charcoal and put torches down. Now, of course, that's assuming that you've yet to find any coal, but regardless. And also, since 1.9 has come out, there is a new offhand feature, which you can put your torches into your offhand using the F key. And then, actually, you know what? I think I'll show that to you guys. Just go to here, controls, drop selected item. I keep mine on P because it's a lot more difficult to drop it. And as you can see, swap item in hand, and this doesn't have the reset button, whereas this one does. So that's how you can tell that that's the default button. Alright, so once you're at Y equals 50, you'll want to mine forward. And once the light from the previous torch starts to dissipate, like at about here, you can generally tell without having to count that it's starting to get slightly dark, so then put it here. And once you've gotten a certain distance, whatever feels best for you, you will start stripping, because at this point you still don't have a lot of resources, so you'll start stripping. I will return once this. Of course, considering how lucky I've discussed the player being so far, I would find coal first. Now with that said, please excuse the diamond pickaxe, but other than that, as you can see, I now have 46 coal. Now at this point, there is another trick that I can teach you guys, and that is to turn that coal into blocks. Now, normally I am only an advocate for blockifying things if you are saving resources. However, there is in fact a distinct advantage to turning your coal into blocks, and I will show that to you guys in a moment. Luckily, the gods have decided to show us some favor and have given us some raw beef. However, we have to cook it. So first, in order to get a coal block, you have to take your coal and arrange it into a 3x3 pattern that gets you one coal block. But since this is a cooking show, we have the coal block already, so I'll just start the test up. Put the raw beef in here, and this other furnace has 9 coal as well, so I'll put the beef in here. While we're waiting on our steaks to cook, using our little furnace factories over here, I would like to introduce some math to you. 1 coal cooks 8 steaks, or, well, 8 of any item, so that's equivalent to 8 cows over here. And of course, with these 8 cows, now you can turn the 8 cows into 8 steaks. And of course, 8 times 9, that's 9 coal, so that's 72. But the thing about coal blocks is that when you put it into the furnace, it instead cooks up to 80 items. I'm not going to spawn that many cows. So anyhow, there is a small issue with this test, which I just realized, and that's you can't cook 64 items in a furnace on its own, unless you take some of it out and put it back in, which of course we're going to do for maximum efficiency. That won't get you the most experience, but at this juncture we're kind of at the slow accumulation stage and we really don't need it that much. Holy cow, the gods just upgraded my 2 furnaces into 2 auto furnaces. Who could have thought that possible? And anyhow, so because I upgraded all of this, I now have the ability to perform a more proper and accurate test over here. So 9 coal in there. And then each one of these furnaces starts out with 2 stacks of raw beef. I shall return once this test is done, and I will check how much beef is in the hoppers. And cut! So that is how many steaks were in the furnace with the block in it. That's 80 steaks. Meanwhile, this is the furnace with only coal in it, and as you can see, it's definitely not as many. In fact, it's almost as though there were an entire extra coal in there. So basically, for 9 coal, you can get an extra 10th coal for absolutely free. What is this, GameStop or something? Anyway, Anyway, once you've done all of that, you probably have gotten to the point where you are able to obtain a rather large amount of iron. Once you've gotten your first bucket, you will start making your first farm, then the next farm. Once you've gotten your food source, you will pretty much be set until you decide that it is time to go get some diamonds. Now, once you've decided to go get some diamonds, presumably you have plenty of resources, things like wood and food, everything that a person might need to get started on a particularly exciting Minecraft adventure. Of course, while I'm trying to set up for the next scene, I just so happen to magically find a cave with iron in it. Go figure. Now, somewhere along the way, I have unbelievably managed to travel all the way to the end and unbelievably amount of times killed the Ender Dragon. I have spammed the Wither and killed him a lot of times as well, to the point where I have 2 stacks of stars and a stack of beacons. And yet, I still don't have any diamonds. This makes no sense whatsoever. Hi, Bunny. So, I guess at this point I should probably fix that. Now, what I want to do is not necessarily, I don't want to necessarily dig down in a straight line. And yet, at the same time, despite the clear disadvantages to digging down in a straight line, because there was no way that I could have avoided that other than not digging in a straight line, there are also some pretty specific advantages to it. Howdy, partner, I'm just an unusual miner. Oh boy, I just got real lucky. Look at all these here diamonds. I got enough for a diamond pick. Oh look, I even got me a nice mine shaft. Wee-haw! If I ever have to do that again, I'll probably have an aneurysm. Anyway, so obviously you want to dig straight down, but at the same time it's risky, so you don't want to dig straight down. But it gets you a lot of resources really quickly if you're lucky. So what do? Here is a method which was once unknown to all of mankind, and yet has recently, please excuse the truck, and yet has recently been discovered. Now, pay close attention to where I keep my cursor. Actually, here, why don't I just put on the F3 mode. Now my cursor is outlined by the red line and the blue line. Now, you want to have it set up to where when you break that bottom stone, it immediately lines up with the next stone on the side. So then you can just kind of hold it like that. And that way, if, for example, I don't exactly like all the noise that's going on. Wherever I'm going, it's definitely too noisy for my taste, and I should probably not be going straight. Are those gas? Are those freaking gas? Seriously. Gas in the overworld. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Due to a slight mistake in which I failed to switch worlds while filming that last scene, I have to go to another place. So as I was saying, the best method to go about starting a new mineshaft is not necessarily to mine straight down, but to carefully and safely mine straight down, such that you're able to see what you're about to run into before you run into it, so that, as you saw earlier, in case there are more, or perhaps in this situation where I could have dropped down into a cave, fortunately this one was safe, or alternatively that other situation where there was a cave full of gas. If I had gone straight down, I would have been full of fireballs right now. So instead, we mine down in a way that allows us to keep an eye on what's below us and not actually take any real risks. I shall resume recording once I'm at the bottom. Of course, with this method of mining, there's always the risk that you will encounter a cave, which, while for some of you that's not actually a risk and is in fact a reward, for others like me, this isn't necessarily low enough to get diamonds, so this isn't what we want. We're going to have to find another place. Fortunately, I am just going to fly, and we could use that cavern, but that's not a good example of this. I actually managed to find a pretty good spot. So anyway, the best method, as I've probably said 1,000 times by now, is to dig carefully in a straight line, and I'll just get back to you. And once you have gotten to y equals 12, you will want to start going right back up to the top of your ladder, well, to the top of your mine shaft, because this is actually a mine shaft. Normally, you would not want to leave behind precious iron, but this is a demonstration, not an actual mine shaft, so I will get back to you once this is lined up. Now, once you get to the top of the mine shaft, you will want to block it off, and then come right back down here. There is a certain trick that you can use to get down quickly, but this definitely has its risks, so I won't demonstrate it too much here. But once you get to the bottom, you'll want to place a water bucket. Now, you'll end up having to hop over it every time you go through here, but the water bucket does have its use. More specifically, once you get back up, you can come back down a lot more quickly. Well, I'm done depositing these here resources in this here invisible chest, so I'm gonna just go right back down to mining. Whee! You'll want to go out and mine forward in a straight line for a few blocks. Normally, you want to go a lot further than that, something along the lines of 200 or even 300 blocks, but this will suffice for now. Next, you will want to put branches in. I'm pretty sure that if you saw the beginning of this video, you would know exactly what technique I am referring to. This is what I call yay. Anyhow, this is called branch mining. Please excuse me, I had to calm down after finding those diamonds. Please, that's just amazing when I do that. Anyway, so what I generally do, I will put a branch on every fourth block. So that's 1, 2, 3, number 4, 1, 2, 3, number 4, etc., etc. Now, some people, instead, they will put it on every third block. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now, the idea behind this is that if you've got every third block, then you basically get 100% of the ore, but I find that it's more efficient to instead mine every fourth block, because 9 times out of 10, the ores will be too wide, so unless you got an ore that's literally 1 wide, it's very rare that you'll miss it. Now, for this next part, I have downloaded and activated an XRay texture pack. I am going to throw this away after I am done, because I am just doing this to demonstrate what ores I would be missing. I dug a few tunnels both using the every fourth block method and using the every third block method, just to have tests for both. Now, as you can see, for the every fourth block method, hypothetically speaking, if I were to miss something, I would miss this coal block, and yet at the same time, I would have actually gotten it. Same thing with this coal block, although the iron block would have been missed. That is some tragic iron that probably won't be missed, because we generally drown in it anyway. This lapis, on the other hand, if I'm desperate for some enchantments, I won't be getting that. Now, over here, I guess I was a little bit unlucky, but I generally won't be getting this coal, Yeah, this wasn't exactly the best test in the world, but you understand what the point is. So as you guys know, there is branch mining, which is where you mine off in branches. Then there is strip mining, which is where you mine in strips. However, I would like to add that there is also a technique which I call super strip mining, which is where you just kind of point your pickaxe in one direction, and whereas with standard strip mining, you just sort of make small, tiny strips on each side. With super strip mining, the entire mine shaft is your strip. This allows you to find resources at an incredible rate. It also allows you to grief a lot of homes. Now, the only way that you can do this to standard stone, the requirements are very specific. An efficiency 5 diamond pickaxe, and actually you need haste 2, but this is haste 3 because I messed up with the coding. Now, in order to get haste 2, you need a max level beacon, which is kind of expensive. You need literally over 1,000 iron ingots in order to get that. Not to mention, after acquiring those over 1,000 iron ingots, you have to also have a powerful enchantment system in order to get your efficiency 5 diamond pickaxe. And by the time you have all of that, well, if you're able to casually get over 1,000 iron ingots and just spend it on a beacon like that, do you really need more than you already have? I mean, you obviously don't, but really, if you don't need that much resources, then do you really need to go mining at all? And even then, in order to get this, I had to put on an entire command. So this technique is kind of rare, if not impossible to acquire. Now, that's not to say that the super strip mining technique is a completely useless technique, because there is a place that it can be useful at. And now, one amazing thing about the Nether is that netherrack is unbelievably soft. Now, as you can see, I actually have an iron pickaxe, and I have an anvil, so that means I have a lot of iron, and I don't have any diamonds. Which means that I just use the bucket method of making this nether portal. Now, at the same time, okay, I lied. I do have a little bit. I do have a few diamonds. I don't have a villager, but I just realized a flaw in my plan. I still have haste on. Let me just fix. All right, now let's try testing that again. Please excuse my technical difficulties and my absurd noise. So, efficiency 3 and an iron pickaxe. I could have just bought this from a blacksmith. And as you can see, I am breaking netherrack instantly. Which allows me to use super strip mining. Now, what good is super strip mining in the nether? Well, it does have a few uses, aside from breaking your pickaxe, but generally, if you go to the nether, one of the things that you'll want to go there for is quartz. Now, quartz is an interesting substance. You'll use it to get redstone comparators, and also, it has the interesting quality that if you mine it, it gives you a lot of experience. This means that in fact, it gives you so much experience that mining for wild quartz is arguably faster than using a mob grinder. That's insane. But the problem with mining for quartz is that the Nether is a dangerous place. You have lava spawning in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of huge bedrock cave, in the middle of huge netherrack caves, and so you'll end up mining straight into lava. But if you're looking for a powerful, if your best pickaxe is efficiency 3, then you're probably looking for more powerful enchantments. So I'd say that if you're that desperate, then it's probably worth it. Howdy y'all, I'm just the stereotypical Heck, and this is Jackass. Now, there is another unmentioned method that I came up with a few minutes ago, and I call this method strip branch mining. Now, to start with, you start out with the tree, and this starts out as regular branch mining. However, the difference between branch mining and this, instead of start branching out every third block or so, you branch out much further between each branch. So it's kind of obvious that you're going to hypothetically miss a lot of ores, but what makes this method work, if you are one of those obsessive people who absolutely refuses to miss even a single ore depository, is the implementation of strip mining as well. And then once you've stripped on one side, you come on or all the way back and strip on the other side. Was it 2 or 3? I think it was 3. And then that way you can see both sides. Then you repeat the process throughout the whole shaft. All the way to the end. Now, obviously, I'm probably never going to put this method into practice because this is definitely a tedious process, and while it does guarantee that I manage to get 100% of the ores with only 75% of the blocks mined, that is also a little bit tedious. The reason that I didn't like strip mining was because it involves mining far, going back, and then it's just tedious. But if you want to try it, go right ahead. I'm pretty sure if you make it work, it'll be more efficient than... As I was saying, if you do make it work, then this technique should hypothetically work better than either strip mining or branch mining alone, and it should instead work better than It should instead work better as a combination of strip and branch mining. Strip branch mining. That's a new technique, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there is one more technique which I would like to share before I close out this video, and that's the technique that you do when you forgot to bring your torches. Oh no, I don't have any torches, and I don't have this convenient splash potion of night vision to help me out. What do? First lava that I encounter, I will simply I'll just pick it up and put it here. Pick it up, and then put it here. Now, this puts the lava out of the way. I can use it as a disposal unit, but at the same time, this means that I don't have to waste time going back to the surface. Instead, I waste time going back and forth, which is preferable, I suppose. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then a like and subscribe would be much appreciated. And if you really like this video, then please hit that share button down below, or wherever. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace out. I am the greatest miner that there ever was!